Hi and welcome everyone. I am Friar Tuck. This is my epoch. And so what we're going to be talking about today is how to effectively help the homeless. Now, a lot of people, you have two main camps. One camp is let's just, every time you see a homeless person, just give them money because it's going to make it directly to them. And a lot of those people do that because they see the not-for-profits and they see how they're upside down in the way that the resources trickle down. And so therefore they're like, well, if I'm going to give money, I might as well give it directly to the source if I want it to make it to the source. And then you have other people that because of, maybe they gave money to a homeless person and that was enough money for that person to go and OD. I've heard stories of that happening on multiple occasions. Okay. And so you have this camp that says, no, if you want to effectively help the homeless, you need to give to not-for-profits. And there's a plethora of not-for-profits out there because, here's the thing. Both are right, both are wrong, both have their place, both can work properly. It requires you, the donor, to be more diligent in the way in which you give resources for the homeless situation, because there's a lot of corruption within the homeless industrial complex. One, two, not only is there corruption there, but then you've also got drug abuse and mental health issues that are over here in the homeless community, and it's more prevalent because that's part of what put a lot of people out here, or is keeping people out here, because they didn't come out with an addiction to begin with. And so you have these conflicting ways to be able to do it. So let's talk about first. Let's talk about how to do an effective, if you're wanting to give to a not-for-profit, what you can do that will allow you to be responsible in how you put the money out. It will allow you to figure out like what's the best avenue. Because here's the thing. So you guys remember, probably if you watch my live streams, about a week or two ago, I had my business development specialist from Homeless Entrepreneur on, but she's also starting a not-for-profit, and she does a work program. Okay, she wants to help homeless get jobs. Well, if you think that that is an effective thing, that's going to be part of the solution, because you think just get a job, well then you would want to donate to a program like hers. But before you donate to a program like hers, you're going to want to look at a prospectus. You're going to want to look at what their mission statement is. How are they accomplishing their mission statement? What information do they have to show you their success stories? And then once they show you the success stories, you're going to want to pick it apart, because it's all glamour, and it's all marketing. So they want the guy with the biggest sob story. They'll throw a lot of money at it just so that they can get this guy up, so that they can get more funding. Okay, that type of stuff happens. You may have them, like the person may, oh yeah, look at how many people we're housing. We're reducing the homelessness by this much percentage because we're doing the Housing First program. Well, how many of those people in the Housing First program that got housed, how many of them were on Social Security and already had an income? And how many of them were given grants or funding to be able to take productive citizens, give them a roof over their head so that they can get back to work and start paying into the system to kind of help offset the drain on resources? And then it's up to you to decide, are you more interested in getting the drug addicts off the streets, or are you more interested in preserving those people that are still clean and sober and giving them an avenue that encourages them not to get into a drug addiction, and work on getting them back into the workforce where they can be productive and they can pay their taxes and contribute to the system that way. Okay, so I mean, you've got to really sit back and you've got to ask some deep questions. For every dollar that I give you, how much of it goes to administrative and how much of it goes to the client? How much of it goes to the actual homeless population? And then you might still want to pick that apart, because you can still fluff the numbers. I mean, look at what they're doing about inflation and unemployment and stuff like that. They're fluffing the numbers. So you might really want to dig into that as well. Okay, and so therefore, that is something that would be required of you if you want to be able to be effective in helping the homeless by giving to a not-for-profit, because what you're effectively doing is for these people to be able to continue to raise money, they have got to actually show that they're being effective. They can't just be, looking for return clients and, just to be able to continue making money from the system. They actually have to show you effective results, because why would you give them money to keep the same old bull crap going? Nobody in their right mind that ever gives to a not-for-profit wants to continue to perpetuate it, but yet they're giving to the very organizations that are perpetuating it because they're not doing their due diligence, figuring out where the money goes, how it works. No, most people are worried about either feeling better at night, saying, yeah, I gave to a charity, and not only did I get a tax write-off, but now I feel good about doing some good within my community. And so therefore you get your tax write-off. But if you are really an advocate to help the homeless, you're going to have to be the ones that are going to hold these organizations accountable, because the government's not going to do it. The corporations are not going to do it. So you, the small donor, you are in larger numbers and account for much more money than these corporations do. They may not want you to know that, but the truth is you as a small donor have more power than you think, because you are what keeps the lights on when corporations come into business and go out of business, or don't have the funds to be able to donate to charity for the tax write-offs because they had a bad year to where they don't really need to do something like that, and now you're stuck. Okay, so now let's talk about, if you want to give money directly to the homeless, how can you effectively help that homeless person? Well, not every homeless person necessarily needs money. I need money for a van. Okay, so I got to GoFundMe down in the description if you're looking at doing something like that. I need a van. Yeah, now that's something I need money for, because I want to evolve with me and my dog. I want to evolve us into the van life and kind of have a more stable roof over our head, because now we can, our roof is on wheels, and we've got a safe place that gives us protection at night. And so therefore that evolves our homeless situation as we work to get ourselves completely off of the streets and get into a situation that will allow me to have stability. Okay, but there might be other people that they just need a tent. They just need a sleeping bag. They may need a pillow. They may need, they may need a piece of clothes. They may need a friend. They may need all kinds of different things. There's a plethora of things that the homeless need out here. But if you really want to effectively help the homeless, you got to get to know them. You got to understand their situation, because sometimes they may just need a cheerleader and say, okay, we want you to, one day you're going to have to be productive. You're going to have to do something that's going to put a roof over your head, or you're just going to have to start being nicer to yourself so that you can actually have a better lifestyle moving on. Become their cheerleader, because sometimes having that friend, just like the story I talk about with Puckett, having that friend sometimes that will be there and does something in the moment that is truly, like, I don't know, not majestic. Okay, so like he fell out. I carried him like about a mile or so back to the shelter so that we could call the hospital for him and everything else like that, on one of the coldest winters that Florida had had in over 50 years. Okay, so something like that, now I have clout. I say, hey, you need to start taking care of yourself. It doesn't mean you need to sober up, but what you do need to do is start thinking about your body, because who's going to be there next? You need to start, maybe not keep running yourself into the ground. Make sure you get some sleep, make sure you eat, keep doing what you're doing. Just make sure you take care of yourself. And then eventually, through the self-care, through the improved perception of the individual, then they all of a sudden go, hey, you know what, maybe I just want to clean up. But it started with a cheerleader and a friend. Now, did that cost you any money? No. Did that, did it cost you anything other than your time and your humanity of caring about another human being the same way that you care about yourself? Okay, so those are the different ways in which you can help the homeless. A lot of it requires that you're going to do due diligence if you really want to make an impact. If you just want to sleep better at night, or if you want the tax write-off, keep doing what you're doing. But if you really want to help the homeless, this is what you do. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that you got some value from this. I would love to know what your thoughts are about this down in the comments. Right now, I've got a GoFundMe going so that Sam and I can evolve into van life. Or if you really want to help me, you can also become a member either over on Patreon or over on over here on YouTube. Either way, it all helps me. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video.